All right. So first, thank you for doing with me the public segment here. I want to acknowledge it. In the first segment, I asked you all the questions about your case and everything. And here in this segment, first, I just want to talk about the Hunyuan free clinic just for 2 minutes because it's going to be on the website. So I want everybody to know what it is. And then I will talk with you about your case, the diagnosis, and the things that we need to do. Okay. So about the Hunyuan free clinic that we have, this is a clinic that the Hunyuan Academy is doing, and it's actually not a charity. Some people ask me, they said, wow, it's really nice charity. What we're doing here is not a charity, even though it's for free. For us, I just want to mention it in a couple of words. We do in the Hunyuan Academy many activities that we consider circular actions. Circular actions, it means different people joining in the activity and everybody is benefiting from it. This is a circular action. A linear action means that, I'm giving you service, you paying me for the service, and it's like a business. I'm selling you a car, you're buying the car, that kind of thing. And in the what we're doing here is not a charity. It's not the clinic for the poor. So it doesn't matter if someone has money or not, but rather it's what we call a circular action. So the students join in, and I'm joining in, and patients join in, and we all help each other. And this is something, again, I'm just mentioning it here. It's not the topic of this meeting. What I want to explain to you, and again, in this clinic right now, your case is trying to get pregnant, but in this clinic, we also see other patients, not for clinic, someone we have that has cancer, there's all kind of body pains, all kind of things, diseases. It's not just a fertility clinic. Now, what I want to explain to you today is how we see in Hunyuan health and then fertility, and then just talk about your case from a few different angles and what needs to be done. And also because we talked before in the first segments about seeing fertility clinics and their diagnosis, I will also maybe want to mention a few words about that as well. So it's important for me, and all the patients that I see for the first time, I explain it to them similarly. So it's not just in your case, and it's not even limited to fertility. But for us, we have a concept in Hunyuan, what needs to be done in these sessions, in this Hunyuan medicine sessions. We say for a person in general to be fulfilled, it needs to have 3 things. He or she needs to have 3 things. They need to be happy, they need to be healthy, and their life need to be strong, or they should have long life. These are like the 3 pillars that we have in Hunyuan, like happy, healthy, and long life. And healthy is kind of in the middle. It's, normally when we talk about medicine, it's I just want to be healthy, right? It's that concept. But for us, being happy, or the heart being happy, I'll talk to you in a minute about that as well, is the preliminary conditions to being healthy. Like if the heart is not happy, like you mentioned, after giving birth to your first child, the first 2 years, it's kind of very low. It's very difficult to be healthy. And now for us, when we talk about fertility and egg quality, and you mentioned in the, fertility clinic, AMH test and all kind of things like that, the modern tests that we do for blood tests, for FSH and AMH, they kind of diagnose the person with a physical problem, but nobody really know where it's coming from or what to do about it either. And I think it is because this picture of happy, healthy, and long life or strong life is missing. It's just like what's healthy. And then there is a problem with this, because when someone has these kind of discouraging test results like low AMH or high FSH, it feels like it's the end of the world, because there's the concept of recovering the person's health through being happy and healthy and long life doesn't really exist, doesn't apply in modern medicine. So again, I want to explain to you before we talk about fertility at all, just this concept of happy, healthy, and strong life, and then how is that related to egg quality and fertility, and then what we should do about it and how we resolve that. So if it's okay with you, if you have a few minutes, I just want to explain to you this first, okay? When we look at and that's why I have a whiteboard here, when we look on about this 3 things, happy, healthy, and long life, I always start with the body first. And for us, I try to identify what is the body doing, what is the principle by which the body operates. Now there are 2 ways to look at the human body. One is that there are many, many different things, right? We have ovaries, there's different hormones, there's uterus lining, there's heart, lungs, organs, things like that. The other is that we are trying to see a cohesive principle. Like, what is the body doing? What is the body here for? And looking at it like this is the Hunyuan view of the body. It's different than the conventional understanding. When we look at the body, we say it is doing one action, which is a cyclical action. It has a repetitive motion to it. That's why I'm drawing a circle here. And we call this action a unification separation action. So I'm drawing number 1 at the bottom and number 2 at the top. And basically that means that my body, with all the many different little things that it has in it, it does one cohesive action. At night it goes to sleep, it goes in a state that we call unity, which means the heart doesn't move, the emotions don't move, I'm in a state of like unconscious or subconscious, I'm sleeping and I'm uniting with nature together, I'm becoming one with it. But then when the sun comes out, I wake up with nature and my heart starts to feeling how I am an individual and how I am separated from you. You're over there, I'm over here. The wall is over there, the table is over here. This is called a state of separation. Even though I'm still in nature, I feel like I'm different. I'm separated from nature. And the body goes through this waking up and sleeping all our life. This is what the body is doing. The reason that the body does unification, and I'm a little bit brief here, but just getting straight to the point without explaining too much. When we're doing unification, the body does what we call recharging activities. In other words, last night I was really, really tired, then I go to sleep, I wake up in the morning, there's energy again, as if I was never tired before. This is called recharging activities. The reason that my physical body does separation, like waking up, is because it needs to reach out to nature in order to get energy sources. Like I need to be able to wake up and go to the apple tree and take an apple and eat it. And during the day, every time when I introduce nature into my body, with food, with air, with water, sunlight, everything, these are all considered to be a part of recharging activities. Like I take energy from nature and then I recharge. I have more energy. If I don't eat or don't breathe, I don't have more energy, right? So these are two things that we're doing, unification during the nighttime, but during the day, my heart separates, I start to understand things, to be conscious, and physically I start moving around so I can reach out to nature, to breathe, to eat, to drink, and so forth. This is the first understanding that we have in Hunyuan about the body, which means the body has a connected action with nature. It wakes up and it reaches out to nature, and then I also need to recharge. And when I look at the younger people and I compare them to older people, let's say a 5-year-old kid and a 90-year-old person, we all have the same body and we do the same thing. We breathe, we eat, we drink, but the younger people, they have like an abundance of energy, even though they eat the same or even less. The older people, they could eat more, but they have much less energy. And this is related to what we call the unification ability. This is this square here at the bottom. The older we get, as the years go by, every day that goes by, my unification abilities start to become less and less. And that means that when I take energy from nature, my ability to bind with this energy becomes less. This is the meaning of getting older. I'm still eating apples. It's not like that we give apples with less energy to older people. They eat the same apples, the same chicken, the same salad, or even more organic, with more energy in it. But their ability to unify with it start to become less and less. This is the meaning of getting older, and there's nothing we should try to resist. Like, it's not like I will never get older. I will get older, and this is part of the game. It's just that in Hunyuan, we want to be as healthy and as long life as possible, as much as possible. It's not that we want to live forever. We just want to have long life, and we want to be healthy. Now, healthy in the body, for us in Hunyuan, it means that the body does its job properly. And we have a way to define it in our language. We say the body moves on time. It's not too fast and it's not too slow. In this circle that I just drew for you here, that describe the entire body, it actually includes all the many different things in the body, the lungs, the heart, the stomach, the reproductive organs, the uterus, everything. And it's of course not your job right now to know everything on the circle, but it's my job as a practitioner to realize it. Where is everything at? And all the diagnosis that we did in the first segment, which is not in this recording here, I was trying to find out on the body if there are any places that are moving not in the right speed. In other words, all the questions that I ask you, if you feel hot, if you feel thirsty, or if you felt thirsty before, is to try to find out is the circle of the body is moving properly, or if there are any alteration, like it's too fast or too slow. This is the diagnosis of being healthy or not healthy. And most of us normally consider the being healthy the ultimate objective. In other words, if nothing hurts me, it's great. But for us, and again, for fertility, it's not enough. And for us in Hunyuan medicine, it's also not enough. Like just not having pains and aches is not the entire story. That's why we have the happy, healthy, and long life. The long life or strong life has to do with the amount of unification. I need my unification ability to be as strong as possible, aside from my body not having pains and aches. These are 2 out of the 3 things. The unification needs to be really strong, and the body needs to be just on time, without any complaints. Now, I want to explain it to you because it is related to the case here. There are situations oftentimes where the body has alteration in speed. In other words, I have a symptom, like I feel headache, I feel stomachache, I feel things. And the symptoms that I experience is always also related to the strength of my unification. In simple English, if I am very strong and I have a problem in the body, the symptoms start to be really strong. Let's say menstrual pain, which we discussed here. If the unification is strong and there is a slowdown in this part of the circle, then the pains are excruciating. You know, like women sometimes that have very, very strong menstrual pain. But as we grow older, or if something happens that makes the unification decline, what we call weak unification, all of a sudden you get a situation, and this is very often, that the menstrual pains start to be not so painful. In other words, the slowdown problem is still there, but the symptoms are not so bad anymore, which is the kind of situation that we see here. And this is for us very important to know, because I realized that there is this in our language in Hunyuan, we call diminishing symptoms or hiding elephants, like the elephant is hiding in the room. There's no symptoms, but there used to be symptoms, and I need to know it as a practitioner, because when we start doing treatment, especially that includes unification style treatment, like unification formulas, I'll talk to you a little bit later about it, then all of a sudden the unification gets stronger, like you're young again, and these pains come out again. And of course, if I know it ahead of time, I can prevent it. I don't need to wait for them to come out, but I need us to work on it together and to be aware of it. This elephant is there, and we need to remedy it as well. The third thing that is very important, and actually here in this case is very, very relevant, is the first word that I say, happy. Right? Happy, healthy. It's not that you're sad. It's not about sadness. When I said happy, it actually does not mean laughing. Happy does not mean laughing. Happy means that the heart is very harmonious. And I want to explain to you in a few words on this, and this in Hunyuan is also an extremely important aspect. We call this the fire inner circle. This circle inside represents my heart. The heart is not the cardiac heart, but rather the emotions and the desires and all this. Like not the blood pump, but rather the how I feel thing. Now, and I want to step a couple of steps back to explain to you this issue of the heart and then how it's related to our case here. When I wake up in the morning, and I always use the same example with patients. When I wake up in the morning, I open my eyes, and let's say there's an apple tree in front of me. I see the image of the apple goes into my brain or into my heart, and because I have memory of eating an apple, how it tastes and how delicious it is, it starts to instigate my desires in the heart, and after that also the emotions. I want it, I need it, I'm hungry, I want, and then my body walks to the tree, take the apple, I eat it, take the energy from it, and unify with it, and so forth. This is the sequence that happens. When we're alive, my body has no possibility to go to the apple first and later want to go there. Right? I cannot have my body work first and then the heart want to do anything. It always has to start from the inner circle, like how I feel, and then my body is doing something about it. Now, the principle of the heart is to be in harmony. Being in harmony means that my heart separates or have a certain desire or emotion that is exactly in the right amount to do that task. So the example that I just shared with you before, I open my eyes, I look at the apple, looks delicious, I want to go there, I go there and I eat it. This is the normal scenario. But let's say something else is going on in my heart. I look at it, I open my eyes, and all of a sudden I start feeling guilty. There's only one apple. Why other people can't have it? Why should I have it? All of a sudden I start crying. All of a sudden I don't know why. Why was I the only one revealed to the apple and nobody else saw it? All kind of stuff. And in the end I go there and I eat it. What happened right now in this comic kind of an example is that instead of 1 ounce of energy in the heart, I spent 20 ounces of energy to do the same action. This is called when the heart is not in harmony, or what we call a happy heart. So again, happy does not mean laughing. Happy means that the commands that I get from the heart are always just right, and it requires minimal amount of energy to accomplish the task. Not more, not less. Anything that is different than that, we call it a heart that is in disharmony. Now, remember before I explained to you, I said, when I go to sleep at night, last night I was really, really tired, and possibly also very irritated and impatient and things like that. But then I wake up in the morning and I want to talk to you again. I'm very patient. I'm very happy. I want to help you, right? The energy is back. And what happens in unification, the first thing is that all the energy becomes available to the heart. And this is what we call in our language, the spirit is coming back. And I feel very rejuvenated and happy and motivated and things like that. Part of the unification energy also goes to the body, like my body needs to move, to walk and things like that, and do physical processes. But first of all, that's why I explained to you, everything starts from the heart, meaning if the heart has a lot of energy, feels great. Now I reverse this example. If the heart is in disharmony, the first thing that is being compromised is the unification. The unification the heart starts to draw a lot of energy. Remember that example with the apple? If I start freaking out and crying about the apple, actually my unification over time starts to get weak. And this oftentimes has to do with memory, like things that I have accumulated since childhood, not necessarily starting right now. So when we talked before in the first segment and we say there's some emotional things and that, these things never start now. There's always like a baggage. Everybody, me included, everybody has a baggage. We grow up in childhood and we have our own baggage, and it doesn't matter for us what the baggage is. The only thing that matters for us is if the heart is in harmony or not, meaning if it uses the minimum amount of energy needed or is using too much energy. It's not a criticism. It's not, and again, it's not psychology session or psychiatry or any of this. We just want a happy, healthy, live long in order to reach optimum results. Now, I'll get back to it in a minute, but I want to talk about fertility for 1 minute before I get back to this issue. For a woman, and for a man there's also a story, but right now for a woman, every month she gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Her unification gets stronger until at one point she does what we call a split. Let me just draw it here. A split means an egg releases from the ovary, and with it there's a certain amount of energy that comes out of the unification. The reason that I needed to explain to you this entire picture is that in order to be alive, we need a unification activity. Like I need to be able to recharge, then my body has energy. I recharge, then my body has energy. This is the meaning of physically being alive. Well, ignoring the heart for a moment, just physically being alive. I need to be able to recharge, then I have energy. When we talk about creating new life, fertility, a sperm and an egg, this story, the sperm and the egg, aside from having chromosome and physicality to it, have to have a part of this unification ability. That's why I drew you this picture, and that's why I'm telling you this story. There's a difference between an egg that is alive and an egg that is dead, and the difference is not the physical body of the egg, but rather if it has this energy to it or not. In our language, we call it pivot. If there is a female pivot in the egg, and if there's a male pivot in the sperm. If the sperm is dead or the egg is dead, there's no baby possible, even if the chromosomes are there. Right? That part is missing, the energetical part, what we call pivot. Now this, mind you, this is Hunyuan talk. This is not science. Science don't have it yet. The ability to measure life, energy, and this doesn't exist. It's either body and that's it. Now, if body and that's it principle would work 99% of the time, meaning everybody gets pregnant who do IVF, then I would have nothing to say. The only problem is that in your age group, only 5% of people succeed with IVF. 95% of people fail. And that's why I have what to say. Like, I need to find other solution because otherwise it doesn't work. So it's not to say that science will not find other energetical components to the egg and the sperm in the future, but my patients, they don't have 10 years, they don't have 50 years to wait. It's like it's either now or not. And so we're resorting in Hunyuan to other perspectives that help us. Now, this morning, I got 2 emails from 2 different patients. One just found out she's 4 weeks pregnant. I think she's 43 or 44. And the other, she remembered to email me, and she already has a daughter that is 3. She never emailed me after she gave birth. She got pregnant like 4 years ago when she was 47. But I'm just saying, because this morning I got these 2 different emails from someone who just got pregnant and one who got pregnant 4 years ago, and she said, I actually posted it on the blog. You can see it on the blog of the website. But she's like, I'm just too busy to be a mom, just like you explained, so she couldn't think about sending me a picture or whatever feedback and things like that. The reason that they are pregnant is not because I think the same with the body is the only principle, but rather we're thinking different here. This is what I'm trying to explain to you as far as fertility is concerned. There is the physical component, sperm and an egg and tubes and uterus and things like that. But I feel, and my experience shows it, that there is another component specifically related to the egg quality and possibly also the sperm quality, which is in the modern medicine is completely unknown. What is egg quality? Egg quality today basically means it doesn't work. We do IVF, it doesn't work, we don't know why. But I think there is a reason. Instead of saying there's no reason, there is a reason. And the only way that I can understand it is that the egg quality comes from the strength of the mother. And that's why I needed this definition here. What does it mean, the strength of the mother? It's not that the body is on time only, like she doesn't have headaches, but rather that her unification is strong. She's like a young person. And this completely solved this mystery why some women who are 30 cannot get pregnant and other women who are 45 can. This is like a mystery in modern medicine. You know, because they say the age factor, you're old, your eggs are old, everybody likes to use that erroneous talk, not realizing that there are some women who are much younger who can get pregnant and other ones who are much more advanced in age and still have beautiful babies. And this actually is related to how strong the unification is. This is also why all people don't live the same length of life. Some are 100, others are 70. Like by natural causes, it actually relates to how strong their unification is. Now this is a little simplistic just to say how strong the unification is. Actually, it always starts from the heart. That's why I put the happy first and not second. When the heart is really harmonious, there's minimum extraction of energy from the unification and it lasts the longest. So when someone in the heart is really content, again, I'm not talking about laughing. I could be sad. If someone died, I should be sad. I shouldn't laugh when a family member just died. I should mourn it. So it's not about laughing or being sad. It's about the heart doing the right thing all the time. If I need to be sad, I'm sad. If my pen just dropped by mistake, I shouldn't cry now for half an hour because my pen dropped on the floor. I should just pick it up. It has no meaning to my life. Because it has no meaning to my life, my heart should not move at all. Move meaning be emotional in any way. You know, but this is a long story and we'll get to it in following session, not today, like how to do about it, how to work this out. But this is part of our Hunyuan treatment. It's also to restore the harmony in the heart so it will not extract a lot of energy. And this makes the unification stronger and this makes the egg quality stronger. It's not just medicate, like how do we medicate? Not everything is medication. So now, going back to the heart story for a moment. You know, when you give birth, which is a great thing, and you have a child and beautiful child, you know, the first 2 years being really, really tired in my experience and opinion, in this particular case, has to do with this drawing a lot of energy. This arrow came out a little big. That means the heart starts moving a lot, and it happens to a lot of people. If you Google it and you hear, in your case it wasn't like this, but everyone that has postpartum depression or the such is not a physical endeavor, but rather all of a sudden there's a new situation, there's a new baby in town, and the heart is moving a lot, and that's why the unification deteriorates. Initially, you can have physical symptoms like night sweats, heavy night sweats at night, like we experience here, means that the unification is weak. So when I go to sleep, it cannot hold the energy in unification, and it starts separating, as if I'm awake. This is the night sweats at night. And this passed too. But another things that happen is that the menses used to be really painful, which means this part of the circle was very slow when the period comes, but now the unification is weak and it's not so painful anymore. It's not because we got cured, it's now the elephant went into hiding, we call it. So the symptom is not there, the problem is not necessarily resolved. The painful period is not really a big problem for fertility. So when the periods were very painful, the unification was very strong, pregnancy took place, no problem. Immediately conception took place. So the painful menses is not a problem. I mean, it's uncomfortable, but it's no problem for getting pregnant. That the unification has decreased and those symptoms subside, this is a problem for getting pregnant. Because every time there is a split, if there is a split, meaning an ovulation, there's much less energy in the egg, and that's an issue of an egg quality, so to speak. These things, like you said, with the low AMH and all these things, the modern medicine, again, this is just my opinion. Right? The modern medicine with shots diagnosis, it's not that it is inaccurate. It's just that there's no solution, and it sucks all the hope out of the person. The AMH is low, you don't ovulate, let's lose hope together. And this is completely counterproductive to getting pregnant and being successful. First, especially in such a case, because in such a case, the unification weakness didn't really come from physical trauma. Let's say like a car accident that broke my body. This is like a physical trauma that exhausts the unification. But rather it's a heart movement. So to the contrary, any news that I give you to discourage you and make you hopeless, even if my intention is beautiful. Let's say I have good intention to be nice and honest and this. I give you any news that gets you hopeless or discouraged in any way, it makes the heart move more and the unification decreases. And it's completely contrary to trying to get the air quality stronger. So here the first thing, and that's why it was important for me to talk about this test just in a few words, is to realize, and this happens over and over again, including these two cases that I described this morning that just emailed me. One from a few years ago, one from a few weeks ago. When the heart gets more harmonious, not laughing, more harmonious, this allows the unification to get stronger, and then the air quality increases, and that allows people very often who could not get pregnant before, now, yes, get pregnant. And this is not limited just to fertility. This is in many, many different cases too. If I have a patient that has, for example, and I do have this patient, it's not a fictitious case, that had cancer or diagnosed with kind of a cancer something, and the hope was sucked out of him, the first thing on the agenda was to recover his hope. And actually, this can be...
That's my daughter. She's here for a second.
Sure. Hi, baby. Hi. Oh, she's so sweet. She's so sweet. Just want to be with her mommy. That's a full house. Oh, that was such a beautiful moment.
For a second, sorry. Oh.
So this is what I call happy. This is what I call happy. You know, this is happy. But I just want to explain this principle is in your case relevant, but also in many other cases. Every time you get bad news, discouraging news, we need to undo it. The heart needs to get more harmonious, and there are practical techniques that we will learn with the time every time when we will meet, not just that talk, but right now I just want to introduce this. I just want to introduce these 3 different things that we want to do. What we need to do is to restore the unification, get it stronger. The heart needs to be harmonious, and we need to work on it in different ways. And this problem that we had on the body for many years, which include also the freezing feet, this is where it falls. The very painful menses and freezing feet falls here the same way. We need to resolve that too. When the body then doesn't have this problem, when the unification gets stronger and the heart starts to be much more content, the chances of getting pregnant are much increased. And this is all what it's about. There's not like miracles. We don't just deliver babies here, but rather we want to optimize the chances. There are two things that needs to be done here. One, stop doing all the wrong things. Two, do all the right things. These are the general statements. It's not like, let's do everything. I read online this, I have this supplements, I have that, let's do all kind of stuff. It's just stop doing the wrong things, start doing the right things, and again, it's just the way I see things. These are the three things that we have here. Having a child is a beautiful thing, but sometimes it does do that. So we had a considerable part of our first segment where we talked about that. Between you and your husband and the child, what's the harmony? What's the dynamics? And there's always, for me too, there's always a place to get better. So it's not like a criticism, like you bad, me good. Actually, I'm in a worse mess than you, as far as my kids are concerned. But the point is, when we do Hunyuan, we just want to get better. And if you want to get pregnant, great. If you have other disease, great. It's the same principle. Get better means the body needs to be healthier, the unification needs to get, or the heart needs to be harmonious, and the unification needs to get stronger. These are the three things that we have to do. It's not just give me drugs, like medicine, give me herbs. It's not that. It's different than modern medicine. It's not like medicate me this. The herbs are definitely have a great use here to increase unification, which is really needed here. And the good thing about herbs that we're using is that they normally taste really good. Cinnamon, ginger, licorice, fennel. It's not the conventional Chinese medicine. It's like stuff that people normally like to drink. Some people say it's strong, but most people after a week or two says, wow, I kind of like it, I'm looking forward to it, and it makes their spirit really strong and the body starts feeling really good. Things that make sense in the stomach, like to feel good makes sense. I'm not 100% sure, the Chinese medicine that is done today is exactly the same way. Sometimes the herbs are disgusting, bitter, you feel miserable, and also the modern drugs, many times patients feel miserable, but they believe it's good for them. It's that principle. Feel miserable, at the end, you'll get a reward by feeling better. But I don't think so. I think medicine in the heart, in the body, it doesn't matter if it's acupuncture, if it's herbs, if it's hard medicine, from beginning to end needs to feel good, needs to taste good. The heart needs to feel good, the body needs to feel good, not at the end when we're successful, all the time. And this, I think, Hunyuan is kind of unique. Normally you go to the doctor, you're scared to go to the doctor. Do surgeries, do drugs, everybody is scared, but I'm really sick, I have no choice, I need help to solve it. But hardly any people are really happy to go to see a doctor. Like, I'm happy to go see a doctor. See a doctor means I'm going to be miserable for a little while. But I think, I'm saying it as a patient. I wish for myself that that's not going to be the case. I want to go to a doctor and said, I'm happy to come here. Like I had a patient right before you came here, who was coming here for a while, an older guy. And he's just happy to come here every week. Like you're happy to go to the doctor. It's different. That's how medicine should be like from beginning to end. That's why I don't believe in here in any discouraging truths or anything. You're too old, your eggs are too old, your AMHs are... The first thing to recover anything is to start having the heart harmonious, feeling happy, feeling content, not discouraged, not desperate. And that's why I told you here what we do in the Hunyuan clinic is a circular action. It's not a transaction based. Like, if I need to sell you more transaction, I need to kind of scare you a little bit, then you'll buy more procedures. This is a circular action. Everybody is happy here. The patients, the students, the practitioners, everybody is just wanting to help and wanting everybody to feel good. There's no point of getting you discouraged on the way to succeed. There's not that thing. I don't know if it makes sense to you or not, but that's where we are. This is called a circular action. Like you come here, it feels good. And that's how it should be. a new medicine, a new kind of medicine. That's what we're doing here. So right now there are 3 different things that should be done. One, and we'll start it from next time when you're coming here into the office. One is we're going to do external therapies like acupuncture from the outside, and this will help that slow down in the circle. We use external therapy to help that problem. We're going to use herbs to help the unification, this all cinnamon, ginger kind of herbs. And then we're going to start on working methods on the heart, how to restore harmony, which is a gradual process, but very, very worthwhile. So before you mentioned the roller coaster, this is going to be not less. Remember how I told you, it shouldn't be like meh. Like my life, there's no emotions. But rather, it's always feeling happy. It's always I want to help. I can't get upset with anybody, but I'm not like numb. I'm actually very alive. In these 3 points, happy, healthy, and long life, this life has 2 meanings to it. One is that I'm going to live many years. The other is that I'm going to be fully alive now. Fully alive means that I'm very happy and I want to help all the time. And it's like a fountain that cannot get exhausted. Normally, when I have a lot of energy in the heart, I want to help you. I feel really, really good. But then when the energy starts to go down in the heart, I start to be irritable. You start to annoy me. I start to get aggressive, angry, upset. Because I don't have enough. Just imagine you want an apple from me, and I have 1,000 apples here. Take, no problem. But just imagine I have 1 apple, and you said, I want your apple. Then I start to feel really bad. Because that's my only apple. So this kind of feeling in the heart, this abundance is what we call harmony. Why am I always happy? It's just because I have 1,000 apples and you want an apple, no problem. You want 5, take 5. That kind of a thing. That's what it's called being happy. This for the unification has tremendous positive impact. When the heart is in that state, the life not only is long, but also every moment is full. I feel really alive instead of being sad or upset or something else. This is called this 2 meaning of being alive. That's why I put this word happy at the beginning. That's the key for a lot of the success that we're having it. Aside from the herbs and acupuncture is in this heart. This front is huge. What we can reach it. And again, when I said don't do the wrong thing means don't go to anybody that gives you discouraging facts, so to speak, facts. Here, 20 years ago, I also used to think about facts that way. But then after I had the many hundreds of people getting pregnant where, doctors promised them they can't, I kind of disregard these facts. Like the low AMH, FSH, and all these things that looks like they're written in stone. If they're written in stone, where are these hundreds of babies coming from? Because they shouldn't be happening. So I kind of over the years got away from these facts a little bit. Not that I don't know them. It's just that I willingly choose to ignore them because I know the reality could be different. Again, I started by explaining to you there might be many, many things to be discovered in modern medicine as far as fertility is concerned, but it might take 10 years, maybe 20, maybe 50, and we just don't have this time. Like for them to find out about energies in the eggs and then from 5% to increase it to 70% success. We just don't have these years. It just needs to happen now, and we have to rely on nature, like our own heart, our own body, being conform to nature properly. We have to rely on it, and oftentimes it proves very, very successful. So this is what I want to share with you here in this segment. After we finish here, we'll just communicate it via text or email to schedule our follow-up appointment. Whenever you're ready, if you mentioned the summer, whenever you want to do the next one, it doesn't matter. So we can start from next week, we can start from September, whenever the time makes it happen. But this is what I want to share with you, and I think there's a pretty good chance for things to work right.
Thank you. This all makes sense to me, and I feel like speaking about the heart, I'm familiar with this concept. In some ways through just my reading experiences and living experiences. The fact that my energy is, my heart energy is spread or spent on other things, it makes sense to me because a lot of things just took a lot of energy from me. My relationships with friends, family, stress, having a child, all of those things, I just guess not so good at know how to contain it, or how to disregard, how to like, you know, protect myself or separate myself from this, not to have this occupy me too like very hard. Like everything goes to like the heart of me. I say, as what my husband says, like this is, there's a priority list. Like this is not important. I don't know why all of these things have similar importance. They're all like as equal.
Well, just imagine like a physical heart, like in the modern medicine, the physical heart. Let's say there's a problem with the heart, with one of the ventricles or a blocked artery or whatever, blocked something. There's a problem there, and in order to solve the problem, the surgeon, the heart surgeon, which I know a few of them, they need to have very sophisticated tools, including the anesthesia, including the knowledge how to do it, how to go in. And actually, this heart that we're talking about, even though the problem is obvious, also needs quite a bit of refined tools there, and this is what we're going to do. So recognizing it is always the first step, like just saying, look, there's an issue here that I need to work, but then also need the knowledge and the tools and the techniques how to work it out. And this is different than modern psychology. We're not sitting on the couch here and we're not talking about our problem. It's not that thing.
Right.
There's all kind of methods that I will explain to you and teach you with the time how to work it out, and it is very, very powerful. I can only share with you from my own experience doing it for the so many years that I've been doing it.
Okay.
Definitely makes the heart go somewhere else and do things different.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. So again, let's just touch base after we finish here, and I'm just going to stop